So I'm doing this live stream because I'll admit I was watching Anton Daniels. Um I was kind of watching the live stream, and I was, I don't know. I mean, I ain't necessarily trying to be a player hater, but I don't really, I don't know. It just kind of seems like maybe Anton has some type of polygamous type of relationship that he got with his wife, that he's not telling, I guess, his audience or whatever. I don't know, but I ain't really trying to play a hate, man. But I mean, I think maybe he does, because I mean he he be trying to fly chicks out, and he's married or whatever. But he hasn't really spoken to the fact that his wife is accepting of him sleeping with other women. I kind of think maybe he does have that, but he doesn't want to openly, I guess, admit to the public that his wife has um accepting, or is accepting him to be able to sleep with whoever he wants to. Um but I mean, I don't know. I just find it kind of like a little strange. I mean, I me personally, because it's like on one end he's talking about dudes that ain't married, but you married and sleeping with other, trying to fly out, chicks that join your panel. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, if I ain't trying to, like I said, I ain't trying to be a player hater, but it just I just found that kind of interesting. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it's like I think, I don't know. I mean, like, to do that on a public live stream, like, I mean, I could see if somebody, I don't know if he's doing that to be joking, or I mean, it's like you could talk to a chick, on the backstage, or on the phone or something, on the back end or whatever. I don't know, but um I don't really get it. It's kind of weird. Like, that's kind of weird to me a little bit. Like, I don't know if he's trying to be like entertaining, that's why he's doing that, but it's weird, man. It's just one of the things, like, everybody does things that's kind of weird. I'm sure I do some shit that is just kind of weird, and I just think that's some it's just some weird shit, man. Uh, but this is not necessarily about that. I do. I had to clip that shit, man. With him trying to talk to, he had a conversation with single mothers, and they was bringing up some interesting stuff. Interesting points of view. And he was, with some nice looking single moms on the panel, and yeah. Uh, it kind of just kind of goes into what I'm going to be talking about tonight. I have been with quite a bit of single mothers. I've been a single mother humper for the last, I would say, what? When was the first? I got to think of the first single mother I ever got with. You got to give me some time. I got to freaking think late at night. What's going on, Seeking My Creator? What is the first What is the first single mother I've ever been with? Oh God. Who was the first single mother? Oh man. I gotta think. Okay. Oh man. Let me think about this one. Oh, yep. I remember who it was. And I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. My only person that knows about this story about that story is probably Def D. But see, I didn't know that's not his name, but I didn't know Def D at that time. But he knew a friend of mine that basically was kind of involved in that situation. And yeah, like I ain't about to talk about that. That's not I can't, yeah. But that definitely is probably, yeah, I think that was the first one. I was how was I? I was like I was either I was either 18, I think I was 18. Yeah, I was 18. I was in college. Oh, it was my first year of college, yup. Got with a single mom, you know. Um the thing about single moms, obviously, it's a lot of women in general, they're trying to play hard to get with certain men. So they're selective, but they're playing hard to get. With certain men, they're not playing hard to get, but in general, they are. Universally, women are really trying to play hard to get. Okay, it's a lot of factors involved in why they're doing that, but yeah, women are really trying to play hard to get, but it's not really working out. They're playing hard to get. It's just making men kind of kind of do stupid shit like kind of a lot of dudes simp out hard. They simp out hard to try to get with these women because you got to understand. I came up when it was Black Planet. I look young, but I'm old. I'm in my close to mid 40s. I came up with Black Planet. Chicks didn't have on a Black Planet profile, and it wasn't no thing about it was no. I mean, PayPal was around, but it was no Cash Apps or none of that. Zelle, none of that. Like chicks didn't have a PayPal on their Black Planet page talking about you gotta give me a PayPal to fucking message me. Like that was not that wasn't my generation. That wasn't my experience coming up. You know, um, late '90s, early 2000s trying to DM chicks off Black Planet that I had to give them a Cash App or well, Cash App wasn't around. I didn't have to fucking PayPal their ass to fucking message them or for them to take me serious in a message. And I don't even think PayPal was like really available like that. Like I mean, PayPal was still kind of new. I don't even know if PayPal was actually even around. To be honest, you talking like 2000, 2001. So yeah, I mean, dudes actually do that though. You gotta understand, it's some dudes today that DM some chicks. They have been DMing chicks for the last few years, paying a DM fee, whatever that is. I've seen, I've seen it mainly on Twitter. For the most part, I see the DM fee shit on Twitter. I have just started. I pretty much only been on Twitter since about 2001, I believe, and I've seen the DM fee shit only on pretty much Twitter. That's the only where I really seen it, and I have not paid no DM fee. But you gotta understand, it's dudes that pay the DM fee. Okay, that's what they do, or they say DM fee or message me on OnlyFans. And it's dudes that's doing that. You know, now the smart guys, they like, okay, well, you're playing hard to get. Let me get a passport, and that's where the whole complaint stuff. They're still complaining about passport dudes. Both men and women are complaining about passport dudes or passport bros. I said passport dudes. Yeah, they still complaining about that shit. 2025, they're still complaining about passport bros. It's always the narrative that a guy with a passport going overseas, is corny, or it's something negative associated with a guy that goes overseas. And it's like, when people really complain like that, they really telling on themselves. Because what would you give a fuck about a dude going overseas? How would that cross your brain? Like your parasite infected brain, why would that matter to you that a dude is going overseas? That's more pussy for you, if anything. If a dude is already out the country, he can't fuck if he's out the country. So that's more women for you. Why would that concern? Why would you care about a dude going overseas? One way or another. Why would you even waste your voice box to talk about a dude going overseas? So it's like, yeah, man, people be telling on themselves. I know I'll probably be telling on myself. I mean, over the years on this channel, people pick up stuff. I get it, you know, but that's definitely something that's just like oddball behavior. Like you talking about some dude to go overseas, but yeah, dudes are going overseas. I went to the DR a year ago. I saw dudes that was like my age and older in the airport talking about their or whatever they were talking about. Why they was in the airport, buying some overpriced Taco Bell, or whatever overpriced stuff that was in the airport. I was I was talking to some guys that they made their first trip. But yeah, basically my whole point is dudes, both white dude. I'm not even talking about black dudes. It was white dude. I was talking to white dudes at the airport. White dudes going overseas. They been going overseas because they had the money and the ability to really do that. Like that. Like it was something they were doing for a long time. You know, and it was just something where it became like a more popular thing for black men to do, because just a lot of dudes kind of joined the it was basically Charles Tyler primarily. And it's like another thing is one of my friends that I used to work with. You kind of, most of the time you get friends that you work with that you you keep in touch with or whatever over the years. I used to work in education, and it was like a school, it was like a alternative school. It was the same school that I worked with Dwayne Wade's brother. And I kept in touch with a couple of those guys at that school I worked at. And in this one particular guy, I ain't gonna say no name, he goes overseas a lot. He's been going overseas for probably, I want to say, at least 10 years now, 10 years or so. And he does it periodically. He does it like pretty much 2 or 3 times a year. He was the one that put me on the BGS actually. He put me on the BGS like 2016. I would say, yeah, about 2016. He was the first person to put me on to him. But before he, that time, he was already going overseas. He was going to the DR. He was going to Colombia, Brazil, because he was in that group with Charles Tyler. And I was in that group for a minute, and I was kind of disillusioned because I mean, I was, kind of trying to, deal with things with my marriage, and, then I, ultimately years later got divorced. But it was like, yeah, I mean, I was seeing the trips they went to, the pictures, the videos, on Facebook primarily, and the complaints. It was a lot of complaints about the women in America, obviously, and then uh, they call America the Matrix because it's just kind of not real. It doesn't. It just a lot of things in America don't make sense, and in many ways, it is. I do agree to a certain perspective that it is the Matrix in a lot of senses. One of the reasons why I would say is the Matrix is because, yeah, just as far as what I'm talking about, how women undervalue the men in America, and a lot of what the consensus, as far as I see, it was a chick on TikTok talking about she was the first woman that was talking about decentering men, and now she's saying that because of the economy and because of layoffs and stuff like that, basically women are going to have to cancel the whole decentering thing. They're gonna have to cancel that whole decentering type of thing because um and that's what I'm going into. The whole like it basically decentering men is meaning just basically ignore men. you know and the thing is it's kind of hard to ignore men when you're sleeping in your car. It's kind of hard to ignore men when basically you sleeping in office cubicles, sleeping on people's couches. It's kind of hard to ignore men. You don't really like men, but you need them, right? You know what I'm saying? I actually, I mean, men really like when women need them. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you, women. We love when a woman needs us. We love because it's really kind of like a master and slave situation. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is pretty much a no cap zone. I don't be capping, man. I try not to be. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I never forget my uncle, God rest his soul. He used to go out late at night and he would be cruising. And one night he brought home a homeless chick. And I was living with my grandparents and my uncle. He lived he lived with his mom. You always got that one family member that they live with their mom for a long time. And that was my uncle. You know what I'm saying? He was the cool. Obviously, he was the cool uncle, right? Um, but it was some times where it was some issues. But the thing is like, yeah, one night he brought home some homeless chick on the south side of Chicago. I actually did a video. I was basically just driving in the Chicagoland area, and I I got a good tour. I went from like Burr Ridge to downtown Chicago, the north side, and then I went to the south side. So I got it all on my dash cam. I just gotta edit it so you'll actually see what the Chicagoland area looks like. Like you can see, basically in the video, you'll see what the north side, which is like the one of the richest parts of the downtown area, which is the Gold Coast. You'll see how that looks, and then you'll go. I went all the way to like O Block. I went through Hyde Park to O Block, and pretty much back on Expressway out south. But basically, you get a good tour, you get a good sense of what Chicago actually looks like. So that video will actually probably kind of give you a consideration of what Chicago actually looks like from the downtown area going all the way south. It'll be like good for a tourist basically, because it's kind of like you'll see. what the lay of the land is. So I got it on my dash cam, and I just gotta edit the video or whatever. But um and that's it. That, you know what? The weirdest thing that I saw on the Gold Coast, I had to go to the Gold Coast, and the weirdest thing I saw was, so a lot of white people, because they don't have kids, they have dogs as kids, and they don't pick up dog poop because they're lazy as shit. A lot of white folks, they say black people lazy. No, no, that's literally their projections. They are lazy as fuck. You know, and they don't pick up dog poo. They are notorious for not picking up dog poo. And in one of the biggest cities in North America, that's not a good idea. And Chicago is pretty much a carbon copy of New York. And one thing you know about New York, if you know about New York, is New York has a significant rat problem. And the same thing goes for Chicago. I mean, literally, that's where the story, like with Michael Jackson and Ben, the movie Ben, uh, it showed you how rats are underground in the tunnels and stuff like that. Like literally, like it's so much dog poo that basically I got it on video. Like it literally is. I'm gonna share it to my Broke Geniuses page. Basically, they're burrowing under the dirt, making like rat burrows because it's so much dog poo that they're eating. So the food is so available. They're literally burrowing it in dirt, making underground tunnels. So that was extremely weird, and I ain't gonna lie, like a lot of the millennials in the Z's are kind of like in the workforce, pretty tough. So they're fucking up. I'm starting to see a lot of like fuck ups and shit. Like for example, I was doing a work order. I still do work orders, like IT work orders and stuff, like 1 day projects, stuff like that. And I noticed an increase in, okay, I go to a site, it's supposed to be a part shipped, and the part's not there. Somebody forgot to order the part. And it's like I'm noticing an increase of this type of thing. And it's like, yeah, I still get paid because it's not my fault that you didn't ship the part. You still got to pay me. So, yeah, it's a win-win for me. But yeah, it's like, it's a lot of fuck ups, because of whatever reason. Like, you know, um, forgot to do something, whatever, just, playing video game, whatever the fuck y'all be doing, and just forgot to order the fucking part, and yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, this is what, type of shit that, I notice, it's a weird dystopian world, and it's like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Now I'm close. I'm trying to figure this shit out, man. I'm trying to make some money from this shit, man. I'm trying to make some more money from y'all fucking up, man. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm getting close. I mean, I already know the real estate shit. The real estate is definitely, that's still popping because you know it's not a lot of people that want to buy real estate, that fixer uppers and stuff like that. So it's unlimited opportunity in that regard. Uh, it's not easy. That world is not easy because you definitely kind of have to build your capital. But I mean, the thing is when it comes to basically what I'm talking about as far as single mothers, um, The thing is that, basically, traditionally, single mothers are easy, you know, uh, easy to have sex with. Okay, and in a way, they women single mothers pretty much kind of know that they're on a lower tier. Like if you look at like women, I mean, I've done videos on this. I mean, you got basically the most prized woman is a young virgin. Okay, that's fucking obvious, right? I don't, you already know that. That's the most prized woman, right? A young virgin, primarily, ideally, if she looks good, even better, right? You know, young virgin, right? 18, 19, 20, 21, right? Then you got the woman that is pretty chaste, but maybe she's had a one or two or three boyfriends, and she's gotten plucked, but she's not out here giving it up. She's not pregnant. She hasn't. I would even say she hasn't had an abortion. The women that a lot of times the women that be like they get ran through and they've not had any kids, but they got three or four abortions. You know, um, I know chicks that they had an abortion and then they lost one of their ovaries because it was a botched uh, a surgery or whatever they do or whatever. And yeah, I mean, because women really use abortions for emergency contraception. Now you got the morning after pill. Uh, they didn't have that, years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They didn't have that. This is new. You know. So and then you got to understand. I mean, not everybody can afford a morning after pill. The poorest among us. I'm gonna get to them. They can't afford the morning after pill. They can't. Morning after pill is like, I think, like 50 to 60 bucks. The morning after pill. Say totally possible. You say totally possible to avoid single mothers. Men need to start being proactive with protection. Well, it's not that simple, because here's the math on it. Unfortunately, I'll tell you this: as far as black women, it's almost impossible to avoid single mothers. If you like black women, it is almost impossible to avoid single mothers. That is the cold hard truth. The reason being is about 75% of, I would say, women that are between, I think, like 21 or 24 to and up already have a kid, already are a single mother. So that then and there, once you get like one, okay, if you're trying to date a woman your age, for a young man that is 20 plus years old, and he wants to date a woman, a black woman, he's got to go through about 70% of women of his age that already have a kid. Now, I'm gonna tell you where this whole single mother stuff kind of sprung from. This sprung from basically a lot of women in the projects. In the 70s and 60s, a lot of poor women were single mothers. A lot of black single mothers were, kind of coming up poor in the projects and public housing on welfare. And then over time, it became part of the overall culture. Then it started by the 80s. It started sweeping into the middle class. If I'm saying anything wrong, don't be intimidated. I'll drop the link. somebody older listening in the clouds, if you know more than I do, if you like came up in the 60s or 70s or whatever 50s, or I guess I don't know. I'll drop the link, man, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong, because I definitely saw from the 80s and 90s it started creeping into the middle class. It started creeping into the trailer parks. It started creeping into, white society. They started being single moms. And then by the time the 2000s came, you got the MTV My Teenage Mom or whatever that was called, and it became part of pop culture. Now everyone's a single mom, even upper class women. It's kind of somewhat acceptable, even though not. I will say that in the upper classes, single mom culture is not really accepted. That is the only part of society that it is not acceptable. It's shunned from. It's embarrassing. Is the upper classes. That's why you have the whole class warfare, because it kind of goes into class warfare, because the whole single mom culture in the upper classes is definitely shunned, and it is an embarrassment. And to be honest, the upper classes is the ones that are most married. Like 75% of, I would say probably 75 to 80% of the upper classes are the ones that are married, because I ain't gonna go into because, I mean, I'm just gonna say it's just like that. As the upper classes are primarily the ones that are married. And I've done research on this, I've done live streams on this, so I know what I'm talking about. Now, the middle class and the upper classes still do have outliers that are single moms. Ebony K. Williams is a millionaire. She's a single mom. Lawyer, TV host. Yeah. Uh, she's a single mom. It's acceptable. I mean, the Sex in the City chick that is 35 plus and she's into freezing her eggs and IVF and she can afford it. She's they call it single mom by choice. Now, I'm not saying this, I'm not doing this live stream as a person that is against single moms. Like I said, I've been a single mom humper for over 20 years. I have experience being a MILF humper. I can't say, I'm not coming in the with the narrative that I don't like single moms and you should avoid them. I tell most men, if you don't have kids, yeah, you should avoid them. And the thing is like I said, when you're trying to date a black woman, it is very, very, few black women that are not single mothers. And when you go into the women that are pretty much just hoes and they have multiple abortions, and you know their reproductive system may or may not have children because of all of the abortions they had, and just the mentality that those women like that have, you don't really want them either, because they would have been a single mom, they just had a whole bunch of abortions. So it's like you kind of dating a slut that basically wants to settle down with you and have babies. You don't want that either. See, I'm like, trying to be the unk that you never had to put you up on game, and kind of help you out, because you don't want no damn slut that done had a whole bunch of abortions either. It's like it really, really gets crazy, you know, um, because you got a lot of see, all of this stuff is like the single, I mean, not the single, but the sexual revolution. It's a reason why so many STDs and stuff out, because the hippie movement in the 60s, the sexual revolution, and you just got to understand, the sexual revolution was combined with the single mother revolution. So it's this, it's just this push to, I guess, go back to being cavemen and women, and just whatever, the savage life, just whatever, just people living like animals and shit, And you gotta understand, I mean, well, animals, if you go into that, the animal life, you know, people always call people pussies, but cats do not believe in single mother. It's a, I mean, they don't believe it's the single motherism is not part of the cat kingdom. I don't care if you're talking about house cats or uh, domestic house cats, or even lions and whatnot. Lions and even domestic house cats, their behavior is they don't raise single mother children, or they don't raise children that are not theirs, or they don't even have that involve them in one way or another. A male house cat or even a male lion, when he takes over a pride or invades a pride, he kills the offspring of the previous male's children. Now, dogs are different. Wolf packs and dog packs, they will raise another male's offspring. Okay, the alpha wolf, they have a, dogs have a different, kind of animal behavior. They will raise pups from another male, offspring. And then bears are single mothers primarily. The behavior of a bear is a single mother, but bears are so ferocious. A mama bear will fight off a male bear. Not probably in all cases, but she'll pretty much run a bear off. But yeah, bears are solitary creatures. As far as when they mate, that's pretty much it. And then the woman goes to be a single mother. And that's why I talked about animal hierarchy, because nature pretty much is kind of like, it kind of shows you how people are, what the capacities of what people are. But bears are not humans. I mean, I just talk about animal hierarchy. The similar behavior of a bear is of a single mother. But the thing is that animals are not bears. The a bear wouldn't the a bear wouldn't go have sex with another male bear until all her offspring is fully raised. She's gonna go. She's gonna kick the bears out of her den or around her, and then she's gonna, basically go start a new family. I mean, it's like it's different. It's similarities, but it's different. But the whole single mother revolution was combined with the sexual revolution of the 1960s. Okay, so that's where all of this stuff came from, and it just morphed into all of these different things. Now, it's fun to have sex. Okay, it's kind of like, the hippie movement came with all of these different drugs, LSD, mushrooms, marijuana, enjoyment, Epicureanism. You can even call it. You can even say the Epicureanism, right? That's kind of how that came about. The whole Epicureanism of, enjoying, different perceptions and enjoying life, being uninterrupted by religious doctrines and things that suppress your true life and enjoyment in life. That all a lot of that kind of sprung up in the 1960s. It was good thing. It's good, but it's bad. The good thing is, yeah, people do want to enjoy life, but the bad is, okay, you having free sex and enjoying sex. That's the act of procreation. You're procreating when you're having sex with a woman. You're having raw sex. You busting nuts. You gonna probably get that woman pregnant. You're healthy. She's healthy. She's gonna get pregnant. That's just how that goes. And uh, you know, and then you understand why grandma told you to get married and your grandpa and your parents and all of that. Because it's like, yeah, I mean, uh you go out and go fuck, you're gonna get a chick pregnant. That's just how that goes. Like, the act of sex is actually your mating, or you're practicing mating if you got a rubber on, and I mean, you can learn the pull out method, but then, okay, how effective is the pull out method, and how many men can actually use the pull out method? Guys can't even probably go 2 minutes without busting a nut. So how can you use the pull out method if you're already coming in less than 5 minutes, less than 2 minutes? How the fuck do you have control over pulling out? You don't. And I'm gonna be honest with you, women are not dumb. They know how to get a man aroused and turned on, and then they know the dude that they're dealing with can't control his nut. Is a happy go lucky, um, a easy nut buster. They know who they dealing with. They not dumb. They know how to analyze a man's sexual control and sexual energy and all of that type of stuff. I mean, they know who they dealing with. I mean, basically, what I'm saying is, it's women that know how to get pregnant by men because they know certain men have no control. They women be in their head. They be like, jackpot. It's like the dude. It's like the chick that got with Elon Musk. She's like, jackpot. you know, that's what they be hearing bells in their head. When you busting all in them. Well, I mean, that's what guys do. Guys don't really have no control. I mean, both men and women have no. A lot of times it depends, but most women don't have no control when it comes to sex from a man, and a lot of men don't have no control over, because both women and men have some form of sexual power. Okay, women have sexual power, men have sexual power. A lot of times, uh, men don't really know how to. Uh, I would say, a lot of men don't know how to really deal with that sexual power or control that sexual power because it's not really talked about. You know, um, but it's something that you can get into. It's a lot of things, man. It's a lot of stuff, man, when it comes to, when you talk about, you talk about sexual energy, the kundalini, the chakras. It's a lot of stuff, man. I really don't really talk about because it's I don't really get the attention from it. I don't really get a lot of attention, and then I don't really get that much support. So it's like, okay, it doesn't value me to tell you a lot of different things because I don't really get the rapport like that. So if I do say some stuff, I just put it on my blog because I do get certain benefits from putting stuff on my blog. I mean, it's not much, but I just put it on there. But um, for me to just continuously talk about certain things that I know, like I have a range of what I know, and I haven't even scratched the surface of the range of what I know. And it's like, yeah, I don't even go there a lot of times because I'm still I'm still trying to get through to people about basic shit. The basic shit is like pretty much got a lot of people lost and disillusioned and stuff like that. So talking about some like way out type stuff or advanced stuff is like it's kind of not too much of a point when it comes to that. So but anyway, I mean, it's like I say, when it comes to black women, it's very. I found that out when I was younger. It is not that many black women that are not, single mothers. After you get into your mid 20s, most of the women that you dated from high school or kept up with high school, they already have kids. I mean, they're already programmed. I mean, and they should kind of have kids, but it kind of bites them in the ass because they really should have, kind of been in a situation where they were married at least. Um, it really wouldn't matter much even if a woman got divorced. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna cap and say, "Oh, it's so honorable. You got married, and then now you have two or three children, and you were married. Oh, you're so honorable." I mean, it looks good, it sounds good, but to be honest, you're still a single mother. Like it's designed, it's in a woman's best interest, and this is what I would tell my daughters. It is in a woman's best interest for you to stay with the one. I mean, basically the man. I said the woman, Freudian slip. It is your best interest to stay with the man that you have kids with. Like literally, even if it's a common law situation, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Even if it's a fucking common law, it's better for you to fucking do that than to be a fucking single mother. I don't care if it's a divorce or baby mama breakup, baby mama, baby daddy breakup or whatever. It's in a woman's best interest because it's just like nature. The man is the protector of his kids. Him being around is in a woman's best interest. It's in the children's best interest. I don't give a fuck if it's Little Rock, Arkansas, uh, fucking common law marriage type situation where y'all both just live together. Like it's in your best interest to fucking have that type of relationship, even if you're not even fucking married, because it's just that's just how that shit work. When women try to be men, try to be like do what men do and be like they think like, oh, I'm gonna have some kids and then I'm still hot shit, and then I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna still date, and then I'm smarter. I know how to make money now. I got a nice car. I look good. I know how to dress better. I know how to put on makeup and everything. Yeah, and it's like, okay, yeah, you can still get a dude. You can still. I'm not gonna lie and say a woman, a single mom, can't get with another dude. Yeah, she can get another dude. I mean, but they be so stupid. They get with another dude, and then fuck and divorce the dude, the stepdad that they got. They found a viable stepdad, and then they divorce him, and or move on, or they find another baby daddy, and now you got two baby daddies. And it's like, I mean, you gonna eventually run out of dudes to basically take you serious. And then now looking crazy and I mean just out here just looking crazy. Like And it's like, yeah, that shit be happening, man. That shit be like tripped out, man. But it's like, they have certain behaviors, and it's called strag behavior. I call it subprime women, but yeah, it's strag behavior. And dudes, man, can see that shit. A lot of dudes can see that shit and they avoid it. You know, they avoid women that are like that. Now, I'm not saying all single mothers are strags, but a lot of single mothers are strags because it takes a strag kind of in a sense to be a single mother. Because you got to understand, like, if you're picking if you're picking a man to be your baby daddy, that that right there is strag behavior in a sense, because that's what a strag would do. Strags have no control over their life, and they're just doing stuff, strag like, just messy. A strag is a messy person, not organized, just kind of semi-functional. It's what a strag is. And strags are both men and women. Strag behavior is a strag. If you look up strag in a dictionary or the I guess slang dictionary, even a strag is a man and a woman, messy, unorganized, all over the place. And a lot of single mothers are strags. It's hard for them not to be strags because they have to deal with kids by themselves. It's very tough to deal with, and deal with working, deal with, if they trying to go to school, whatever. That's why a lot of times they are stressed the fuck out. They like, man, god damn, you know, they going through a lot of shit, man, trying to deal with these kids. But that's in a sense of them breaking off the relationship. Basically, that's their fault, because it is some single mothers that it wasn't necessarily their fault. They was the angel in the situation. It is some women that they were the angel in the situation. But a lot of women that are single mothers, they were the demon in the situation, or devil in the situation, whereas they made it hard for the man that they was dealing with to stay in the relationship. They were the toxic one in the relationship, and they broke off from the dude, or they told the dude to leave, or whatever the case may be. They broke off their relationship with that dude that they had kids with, and then they try to play you know the like, I'm a guilty single mother and woe is me. So it really, to be honest, so they can find another victim. And then they it's just, yeah, it gets really, really, really crazy when you go down that road, because you're almost like predator and prey. You know what I'm saying? So it's, yeah, in the sense of the woman that is like I say, the angel in the situation. She just got involved with let's just say a demonic strag man that got across her and and gave her some demon dick, and she got pregnant. Because, yeah, women don't have no control over no male sexual power. Like, that's the whole thing when it comes to sex. Like, a lot of young people they're not taught what sex actually is. And they have feelings and they have emotions, and then they get involved. A lot of younger women, they get involved with older men. Like, when I was in high school, most of the guys were walking. It was like maybe, what, probably maybe 30 to 50 guys that maybe had a car in the whole high school. I mean, probably even less than that. And it was like, okay, the chicks, the hottest chicks, a lot of them were dating men that were like 19. They were like 16. They were dating 19, 20-year olds. It was even 24-year olds or, older men outside with cars waiting for these women to come out of high school. And you got to understand, a high school age woman, she don't want much. A little purse, some gym shoes, maybe a gold bracelet for her birthday. She's fucking in love. I mean, it's low fucking maintenance for an older dude. I mean, that's just, that's not what I was doing. I wasn't doing that. When I got done with high school, I couldn't wait to fucking leave. I mean, I might have came back to watch a basketball game or two or whatever. That was pretty much it. Like, went outside my fucking car, in my Toyota Camry, waiting for some high school chick to come out. A lot of dudes get with younger chicks because that's the easy prey. You look at it like hunting. Women that are in high school and you're 20 some years old, they're easy prey. Dudes that maybe they don't really want to put up the effort, because you got to understand, okay, a 22-year-old guy, he's supposed to be done with college or just about done with college. If he's not done with college and he just works at a factory at a forklift, who's he gonna really get? You gotta think. You don't really think about this shit, right? You ain't thought about this. A dude working in a factory, he 20 years old, 21 years old. The women that he would date that his age, they're in college. He's not in college. He's working already. He decided not to go to college. Okay. He could either deal with older women, and the older women are gonna be like, because he still live with his mom. He might have an apartment, but most likely he probably lives with his mom. Well, the chick that's in high school, she lives with her mom. She's 16, living with her mom. So the chick that is his age, she gonna kind of be looking at him like, you still living with your mom. That wasn't I don't know how it is now, but I don't think that was kind of still frowned upon back then. Like, you 21 years old, working at the factory as a forklift operator. You're young, you get money, but you got to understand that women, they want a dude that may be having a little apartment. you know Still working is cool, that's fine, but then, okay, they going to college to be a teacher or, some type of career, and they looking at a forklift operator like, uh I don't know. Like, I mean, that ain't really like, what I'm saying, let's just be honest, like, that's not really high value, right? You're a trucker, or not even a trucker, a freaking forklift operator. So what you got to do, right? You got to get in where you fit in. So where do you fit in? Oh, these high school chicks, they don't want much. They'll let me tag at my mom's crib, and like I said, they want some Jordan. They want a little some Jordans, $50. You know what I'm saying? A bracelet. Low, very very low maintenance. So they want to go to the salon, get their nails done. All of that shit really doesn't cost that much. That's like, compared to an older woman, she wants you to have a fucking apartment. Apartment back then was what, $600-700 a month for a 1 bedroom apartment. That's quite a bit of money. Like, that's a lot of money to come up with. Versus, okay, some Jordans is what, $100. An outfit was about the same price, maybe even cheaper, depending on what the woman wanted. So it was, that's why they did that. And then a lot of times they would knock the chick up, because you got a dude that's older. he knows how to fuck better than a 16-year-old. You know, he's stronger than a 16-year-old. You know, so these women don't have no control over that. They're not used to that. So they getting turned out, you know, by a older man. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I ain't got nothing against I had nothing against that back then. I thought it was kind of tripped out, but you gotta understand it's always been like that. Even in the animal kingdom, the silverbacks are the ones that primarily mate. Those are the older men. And I'm not saying black people are monkeys and gorillas. I'm just saying that's how that shit works, man. The older, stronger, virile man is the one that usually mates first or mates at all. It's just how that goes, you know. But again, we're not fucking gorillas in the fucking mist. We're complex humans with, high levels of intelligence. You know, so the thing is that um you also got social dynamics. You got lower class, middle class, upper class. You know, people in lower, I'm talking about middle class, lower class people, right? So, and I'm talking about black people. So, and you got to understand, this is, single mom culture was alive and well. So when a dude got with a chick, he wasn't trying to marry the chick. He was just gonna try to lay up with her, probably get her pregnant. She'd probably have to have an abortion, maybe had an abortion or not. She might have just had the baby, and she had a baby by an older dude that probably either sold drugs or just had a regular job. That's what I saw in high school. You know, when I was in high school, when I was leaving high school, that's what I saw. So, these chicks they didn't even make it to 20. By the time 17, 18, they already had a baby. They already had one baby already. I was in high school, man, and it was a teenage pregnancy boom. It was quite a few women that was walking the hall. They were already pregnant. When I was a junior in high school, it was chicks that was in my class that were juniors. They had babies that were at home, or they were walking around with a stomach. You know, we had a preschool in the high school. So it was you women, when they get 15, 14, they start going through puberty. They can have a baby. You know, I mean, that's where the whole bar mitzvah stuff comes in. They're basically a young woman. Now, I'm not saying you gonna sleep with them. And I don't get sexually attracted to fucking teenagers. Okay. Me personally, I don't get sexually attracted to teenagers. Now, it is some men that get sexually attracted to teenagers. Okay, I'm not gonna go into why I don't and all that type of shit. I mean, I tend to like women that are fucking older because it's some women that lead attorney kind of talked about this a little bit. It's some women that are 20 something years old and they still look younger. They still look like they're 15 or 14 years old. And some of these women be trying to fuck around with that shit, make money, because it's dudes that are sexually attracted to younger women. And they'll be like 20 some years old, dressing around in Sailor Moon outfits. And they're 22 years old, but they look like they're fucking 13. And they be, they be making a whole bunch of money off of fucking perverts, basically, and pedos, sending the money because they into younger women. So it's crazy, but I mean, I'll go. I mean, I was in Japan. In Japan, it is not. I don't know how it is now, but I was in Japan in 2001. I'm a 9/11 war veteran. Basically, they have a law where you can basically, the men can sleep with, I think the women are youngest 13, 14 years old. I don't know exactly what the age was at that time, but yeah, it was a little different over there. Like they could actually do that. Like so, yeah, it's it's acceptable over there. And I think that's why they really freaky because the women over there they done had sex. They done start having sex at like probably 12 and 13 years old. By the time they 19, 22, 21, they they have a lot of sexual experience. I mean, it's tripped out, but the thing is yeah, man, it's almost unavoidable if you're trying to date black women in America that are not single mothers. That's where that whole, like the whole avoidable thing, yeah, it is avoidable, but you goddamn it, damn near. I mean, it's fucked up, right? So if you go on dating apps, right? Which I don't really, man, the whole dating app shit is a lot of those dating app companies, like whoever owns Match.com or whatever, they're tanking and they've been tanking for a while, but like you actually have to pay to use filters. Like Bumble, right? You have to pay to use filters. And some of those apps, they don't even let you filter for a single mother. It's like I don't know if like I don't think Tinder does that. Like I don't know, but the thing is this: you definitely have to filter out a woman on the dating app, and I guess that's one of the good things about using the dating app. You could filter women that don't have children. Okay, now when you probably do that, you probably filtered out about 85% of the women on the app when you did that because most of the women do have kids. You gotta understand, like, um, a woman that looks good and if she's young, vibrant, and healthy, a dude's gonna try to fucking impregnate that broad. Okay, it is almost like she's gonna have and then because she looks good, because she's healthy, she's a young tenderoni, right? She's going to get in a relationship with the man that she really wants to be with, most likely, or the man that pretty much she comes across that she accepts, and she's going to probably get pregnant because a dude is going to impregnate her. Like you got to understand, like you probably would if you had first dibs, you probably would have impregnated her ass. Okay, and it's kind of like, to be honest, I'll even go in more in depth. Women with good pussy, you're going to probably want to impregnate them. Like it just, I mean, I'm not saying every man, but it's like you gotta understand it's the women that they're healthy, they're vibrant, and they're young and also youthful. And they got caught. You gotta I look at it like I look at it like the broad she got caught. Yeah, that's how I look at it. Like, yeah, she's somebody caught her ass, and she's got fucked. I mean, it's, I mean, that's it is what it is. But you gotta understand what you're dealing with. It doesn't. You can't. You can't look at it like anything else. But if she got them kids, you're going to be involved with them kids. I don't give a fuck if she say, I take care of my kids and me and my baby daddy, we co-parent, or my ex-husband, we co-parent well. You don't give all you need to know is those kids are part of her life. And you're part of her life, that means you're involved with her life. That's all you need to know. If you're going to date a woman that is a single mother, whether she says it or not, that's all cap. You're involved. The second you get involved, you're involved. Now the only way that you really can avoid it, to be honest, like the way you have more of a pool of women is when you go into basically non-black women. white women, Hispanics, others, you know, which, to be honest, a lot of non-black women to get the most to get the best women because they're very competitive. They want you to be competitive. They want you to have a very good job, very well educated, look good and all of that shit too. So, you know, it it's competitive to a certain extent. And then it's like you got to be careful because you're dealing with another culture. If you're dealing with a Hispanic chick, you're fucking dealing with fiestas and fucking you know uh what do they call them things where you hit the thing with the bat or whatever of they have a little birthday party, all the kids. You're dealing with a different culture. Mexican food every day. Like her food is what you eat every now and again. You don't eat tacos every day, but she's totally acceptable to eat tacos every day. That's part of her culture. Tacos, Mexican rice, Puerto Rican rice. If she's Puerto Rican, uh, they have parties where the whole extended family come over, and then they playing fucking sombrero. They got sombreros and cowboy hats, and they speaking Spanish. And you better learn Spanish because I'm gonna tell you, I grew up around. Well, yeah, pretty much. I grew up around Hispanics in Chicago. Pretty much uh, Chicanos. That's what they call Chicanos. But the thing is that when you hear Miate, they talking about your ass. That's all you need to know. When you hear Miate, that's pretty much like close to nigga. When they say that, they talking about your ass. But the thing is, yeah, you probably gonna need to learn Spanish and all that type of stuff. And um, yeah, it's a different culture, man. Even white, want to date a white woman? Oh my god! Oh man, that culture is crazy, bro. You gonna be involved in if you want to see what it's gonna be like to date a upper class white chick. The movie it's a movie called Cruel Intentions. It came out in like 99. You'll watch that movie. That's just like maybe you know that's not even probably a really really hard movie as far as like what the reality actually could be. That's kind of light, and that was kind of hard. But when you trying to involve yourself into white culture, you trying to join the white community and get you a white woman, yeah, and involve her family. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of treachery, a lot of man. You dealing with a lot of different power sources, man. When you trying to go into that realm, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know a lot about it, but you going down that road, man. You going to the what do they call that group? The White Citizens Council and shit like that. The white knights, the yeah, the white knights of the Knights of Columbus. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you going down, you going, you going down that road, bruh. Man. I mean, and I know dudes do it. I mean, it's they part of. I mean, everybody in America is part of American culture. Don't get me wrong, but you got different cultures, man. And you gonna be in that group. You gonna share that culture. You go around the family. They gonna probably slip in a couple racial jokes and shit. How you gonna react to that? Can't beat up the whole family. I mean, what the fuck? You go to a Thanksgiving and then you got some making some slide comments. That some of their family might even not even accept your ass, man. I don't know. I mean, it's shit is new. Interracial, being able to openly date a white chick is only what, 40 to 50 years old. That shit is new as the whole single mother thing or whatever, the whole single mother revolution and all of that. It's some new shit. It's some new, like, motherfuckers had to fight civil rights to be able to fuck white bitches and shit without having to be lynched and all kind of other problems. So it's like, I mean, I'm not trying to, scare nobody, but you going down, you gotta accept the if you going into a different culture, you gotta accept everything about that culture, good or bad. Because if you're gonna be a responsible father, meaning you're gonna be trying to have a relationship and have children with this woman, you have to you have to be able to protect her, and you have to be able to deal with her side of the family. and all the good and the bad that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm African American and also African. Okay, African American culture is kind of, I mean, that's my mom's side. Like, all of that shit ain't great. African culture is kind of scary. The shit they be got, doing and shit in Africa, and even, just a lot of customs and stuff they got. It's kind of tripped out. So it's like, it's different cultures, man. I'm gonna be honest, I'm more comfortable with African American culture, but I'm also African. I mean, I'm be honest with you. I probably, I ain't gonna lie. It's probably my turn to deal with African women. So I've tried a lot of African American women. I think it's time to switch. So it's like, yeah, man, it's a lot of shit, man. But it's okay. I mean, playing spades. I know how to play spades, bones, dominoes, um, bid whist. I know all that shit, man. I mean, it's cool, but I don't eat pork. I have never eaten chitlins. I don't know what chitlins taste like, and I don't want to know. I want to go my whole life without having to eat chitlins, and I have been pretty successful thus far. But you got to understand, if you're dating an African American woman is probably not Muslim, which is 90% of African American women are not Muslim, so they don't eat they eat pork for the most part. When you order fucking a sausage pizza, it's not gonna be beef sausage. And I don't even eat meat right now, so I'm not trying to go back to eat meat, so I don't even eat meat. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot of different shit, man. It's like, what? How the fuck do I? What the shit I have to deal with? And it's like, definitely pork. Yeah, it's like most African American women eat pork. So how the fuck does that? How do I deal with that? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't want to deal with that. Don't. It's kind of. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I remember I was living with a chick, and I was religious at the time. I was Muslim, practicing Islam. I literally, it tripped me out when I saw my girlfriend have liquor in the fucking refrigerator. It was like, I was just like a culture shock. I mean, I didn't. It was like, what the fuck? And then now I got liquor in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? I don't drink it much, but it's like, yeah, I don't have no pork in my fucking refrigerator. But yeah, I do have liquor. But oh, she ate pork. I mean, it's like she ain't really, probably, I guess she didn't have much of it, or I don't remember, man. It's just differences, man. Differences of cultures. You got subcultures, all of these different cultures, man. You got to accept all of that shit, man. And you know, uh, being a baby mama is very, very strong in African American culture. That's why a lot of black men that, they don't really like that. Some men, they wanna basically kind of just, I guess that goes in the whole SYSBM, because they don't really like that part of, they don't like that degradation of the culture like that. But you got to understand, man. I mean, life is very, very hard for black people in America, because black people are brainwashed, a lot of us, and you are brainwashed to normalize dysfunction. We pushed with dysfunction. The radios, they pay a lot of money to push propaganda through the airwaves to push dysfunction. That's where rap music is pushing dysfunction. Everybody, well, not everybody, but some people pointed out these record executives, tiny hats that paying for rappers to, basically say all kinds of crazy shit. You know, basically pushing death, murder, even pushing lesbians. My girl got a girlfriend, all this type of stuff, That's you don't really hear shit like that, man. Garth Brooks ain't telling, you know, uh another country artist he's gonna shoot him. But we find this acceptable. We, the young kids, they still talking about it, and then nobody. Then it's like, if the older people saying anything about it, oh, y'all hating, you don't want me to get no money. It's like, yeah, it's a, these are products of single mothers, and they quick to go to the gun because they can't fight, because their mama did, their mama, basically raised them. Their father wasn't around, so your father is the one that's supposed to teach you how to fight, and it's like they can't fight, so they going to the gun first, and ain't no guns in prison and jail, so they getting beat up, might even get, raped, because they can't fight, and there's no guns to go to in jail and prison. So it's just a lot of negativity, and the women don't like it. They don't want you to talk about it, because that's their way of trying to normalize it if you don't talk about it. And you got to understand, any man or woman that's saying don't talk about it, they want you to normalize. That's their way of you normalizing the dysfunction. That's what that's code for. I'm ghetto and I'm dysfunctional, and I don't want you to talk about it. And that's an old game, but the thing is this, man. That's that's kind of how that is as far as the whole single mother stuff. It's reaching a pinnacle, because this stuff is kind of new as far as the rise of single motherism. I mean, it's probably, I would say, I mean, it's kind of always been single mothers, but not widespread as it is now. It's just, I think the last, I would say, probably 60 years, this thing kind of peaked. This whole single mother kind of statistic kind of peaked as far as the black community. Then it started going into Hispanic community, and then the white community. It's still, spiking. It's normalized, it's acceptable. And then also, I forgot that it's linked to the rise of homosexuality, because when women are not around men, they go towards women. They go towards basically homosexuality, because the man is the security blanket. If the man is not around, then the woman, she's the mom, she's going to probably allow abuse, and then the daughter is abused by either the boyfriend or the mom's, the stepdad or a stranger. And then women, a lot of women they don't, they're not aggressive like that. You know, women, a lot of women are not, they're not comfortable even having guns. I think partly due to the fact that women do understand that they can go off the handle. So if they have a gun around, they'll probably use it just on off of just because somebody didn't give them ketchup at McDonald's. So they don't have a gun. It's not they don't have a gun to protect themselves, but it's like they don't have a gun to protect themselves from themselves. You know, and I think that's one of the reasons that women don't really have, they're not pro uh I think that's the Second Amendment, or right to bear arms or whatever. They're not pro that. And then it's just women just at the heart of a pants wearing woman that's masculine, it's still a woman. It's still a That's still a girl that used to play with dolls when she was younger. She just grew into that because you gotta understand, the woman that's like that, a lot of times they're forced to be that because they come from a lower socioeconomic family, and they was forced into basically financial struggle and independence. So they did kind of society and themselves, their own dogma as far as their thoughts is, I need to be a man. But it's really mental illness, really, because to a certain degree they don't have trusted men. They don't have the link of it is they don't have trusted men. They don't have trust that a man could take care of them, or they're not willing to take the risk. And that's, these women can be reached. I mean, there's women that they make money off of coaching these women to be more feminine, to be more trusting. I just saw a post. It's chicks that I follow. You know what I'm saying? That, you call me a beta male, but it's chicks that got money, man. And they be doing shit. They be doing marketing. They be, selling insurance. They be um trading stocks and shit, trading options. They be on this, some stuff, and I check them out or whatever. But like this one chick, she said that, some women are smart too, man. A lot of them actually. But the thing is, she said, for a woman to be open to love, she has to be vulnerable. And that is true. In order for a woman to basically to be accepting of love, she has to be vulnerable. And a lot of women, see, what happens is when they are in high school, it starts off when they're in high school or even grammar school or middle school. They have some type of puppy love scenario, and then their heart gets broken. And then over the course of years and years of getting their heart broken, they put a wall up, they put a cage up, and they don't want to be vulnerable again because they don't want to relive the same experience. So that's why when you get a woman that's older, she's like in her late 20s, 30s, 40s, she is almost incapable of being vulnerable because she gets used to that hardened shell that she put around her body to shield her from being vulnerable, to be hurt, by men. So that's why a lot of those women are very, very difficult to date. I found myself like, I just kind of realized like these women are, basically, unless they chase after you or some shit, or are damn near getting on their knees, like I just find no point in dating them because they try to come off like they're still in their 20s, and they want you to chase them and all of this type of shit. And it's like, no, you're 40 plus, or you're 35 plus, you got kids. Yeah, you look good, but basically you got all of these hoops that probably somebody would probably try to deal with if they was in their 20s or maybe not. It's like, nah, that's 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 just not how you supposed to move. And then you got to understand it's a lot of stuff involved with that I talked about earlier, but yeah, I gave up on that. I gave up on that. It's just no point. Sometimes it takes me late to get shit. I have to figure stuff out late. I admit that some things it takes me late. Some things I'm an early adopter on. But yeah, that's it goes back to why people call it the Matrix and why people just they rather go to somewhere else. They just rather go overseas because uh it's just a lot of shit to deal with, man. It's crazy. A lot of these women, I'll have to say the consensus of these women, I don't care if they're single moms or not, they doing this hard to get shit, and it's tripped out. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's when they horny or whatever, they'll call you, whatever, reach out to you, but yeah, they doing this hard to get shit, man. And that's just they ain't doing nothing, man, but just making more prostitutes, funding more prostitutes, funding more, overseas trips, and then you can only play hard to get for so long until nobody want to even get you. And that's what's going on with these women where they complaining, the millennials and younger are complaining about men talking about they don't want to date them or they not dating because primarily these women are playing hard to get. That's the one liner or one sentence thing is that these women are playing hard to get. And and when I say playing hard to get, they have all of these demands that are based off of social media. A lot of them, these memes or whatever, where they want you to take them on a fine dining restaurant on the first date without even talking about anything when it comes to what you want and everything like that, and pre-qualifying. They want you to just automatically go on a date and pay some money and all of this crap, right? Pay for a babysitter and all this, stuff. And it's like, yeah, dog, it's really not worth it, to be honest. It's like some guys may be able to afford that type of expense, but a lot of guys really are not in a position to be able to pay for that. And guys with money can talk about guys that say, you don't have it and you're not broke, but you got to understand that'll work for young men. I remember being younger in my 90s, getting britches off of basically having a bottle of Hennessy, maybe some weed, not even weed, just fucking, just a good time, having a fucking passenger seat and maybe a little alcohol, and that was enough to get laid. Like the basically women now, they fucking hitting their head up against the wall because they all trying to play hard to get. And really, that is, to be honest, that's not for women to play. Men are supposed to play hard to get, not women. So when women play hard to get, okay, yeah, that'll work on the simps. They'll have the simps, doing all kind of cartwheels and monkey dances. But what'll happen is, the simps will go through their experiences, and the men already know the game. They'll see what the simps are doing, and then the women just basically complaining about men don't want to date them, and then it's just they're gonna have to figure it out. And then over the course of them figuring out, they've already figured it out. They're fucking each other. A lot of women are, the rise of lesbianism is on the rise, bisexuality is on the rise in the black community. Uh, Black women are the leading um, people when it comes to bisexuality, a rise of bisexuality, girls' trips, pajama parties. Uh, they calling men gay, but then they're gay. They're the gayest, but then they're calling black men gay. And it's projection, gaslighting, and it's like, yeah, it's just this kind of death spiral where you have basically, a lot of black men and women that are odds with each other. People say it's just online bullshit. Bullshit. I go to the line at Walmart, I'm getting looks, getting mistreated, going to the line at the grocery store, getting mistreated by, basically young and older black women that are obviously misandrous. You go to the DMV or the fucking post office, you might get mistreated or whatever. It's a lot of mistreatment. It's even women on YouTube talking about, because Kamala Harris is not she didn't get elected, we're gonna make these men's lives a living hell. We're gonna withhold sex from them and all of that. It's like, so yeah, it's a lot of that shit, man. And then that makes them more, more lonely, or they want to give their sexual access to whoever they get sexual access to. And a lot of times, that spite and all of that type of stuff, they have spite babies. They have the, oh, I'm gonna go date this dude because I don't like these other dudes, and then they get pregnant, and then it's the dude don't want to deal with them no more, and then they hate the dude. It's like, it's just this, like, man, roller coaster ride of insanity that a lot of these women just involve themselves with, and you wonder why. Uh, the children, the products of this, these relationships are, full of madness, full of craziness. Uh, you see all of the inner cities where, basically they have these, single mother raised communities where these kids are just hellions. Men or young boys are out selling drugs, shooting up the neighborhood. The women are, the young women are running along with them. And it's like, yeah, this is why this, happened. Like, this is why these things played out like they played out. So, I can't blame the dudes, the SYSBM dudes. I can't blame 'em. Now, to be honest, I'm not part of no community like that. Now, I might help the community because I invest in real estate. I'm a leader in, as far as, you know, I go somewhere, I invest in real estate, yeah, people follow me. People are, they, what I'm saying, they listen to me, and they see some black dude investing in real estate, they know, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. Uh, you know, I'm kind of like a trailblazer to a sense, but I mean, I'm late to the party. I'm not necessarily no trailblazer. I'm late to the party, but the thing is that, yeah, I mean, I do that, but I'm not out here fucking joining no YMCA coaching and shit, and doing mentorships. That's why I do this here. I'm sure I've reached a lot of young men, and kind of helped them with different things. But yeah, I'm not like in no community and shit trying to do anything. I'm just living my life. I'm investing in real estate. I mean, I guess that is impactful. You driving the prices of real estate up. A lot of people don't talk about how investors, or just people that just buy real estate, actually help the community. Brave men and invest in these dangerous neighborhoods where real estate is uh volatile, basically do help the community. Like, I mean, a bunch of men with money investing in real estate in certain communities do help the community. I mean, I don't, like I say, I mean, I ain't really think about it, but yeah, I guess I am a community. I guess I am a motherfucker. I guess, one time I used to really be into that Ipmore stuff or whatever. I even was kind of in, like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. When I had my other channel, Solar Scholar, I was all in the whole Ipmore, this and you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, Black Ram and shit, Ipmore and all that. I, I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess in a way, like, I never really thought about it. I just thought about this shit. Like, I kind of am helping the fucking community fixing up houses in a ravished community. I didn't really think about it like that. I guess I am a community improvement motherfucker. I guess I am, man. I guess that's why. I guess what maybe the SYSBM dudes don't like me, or the I guess the coons or whatever, because I am helping the community out. But it's not like I'm looking at it like, damn, I'm helping little JoJo out and Pookie and them. No, it's not. It's not that. It's pretty much. It was an investment in capital. The motive and the drive was capital. It wasn't, oh man, I gotta help the neighborhood out. I'm not from Gary, Indiana. I used to go to Gary, Indiana with my grandfather, and probably passed through. I probably bought a gun a long time ago, but I ain't gonna put myself out there. But yeah, I mean, I've been through Gary, Indiana before, but I mean, it wasn't like I was coming here like on some community improvement, non for profit type shit. I was here to try to make some money. It was an opportunity, as an investment, and it was a profitable endeavor so far. But yeah, I made some mistakes. I learned from it, but yeah, it wasn't like I was like, oh man, I gotta help the community. But me just investing in real estate, what helped the fucking community. So I mean, hey, it is what it is. But the thing is that yeah, it is a lot of just a lot of stuff you got to deal with. A lot of single moms and a lot of hell raisers, you know, that are products of that type of dynamic. Because a lot of those women, they they uh they themselves are hell raisers. Like they talk to me in any kind of way, knowing they gonna call some other man and shoot up the block, or they got a gun in the car, they got a gun on them, you know, or they fight men. How many times you heard a black woman say, "Man, I fight men"? It's like, how many times you heard that shit, man? The big old Amazonian black woman talking about, "I fight men." Yeah, there's some women that they think they could beat a bitch, beat a dude's ass, man. They already know they could beat a bitch ass, but they think they could beat a dude ass. It's some women that probably can. I ain't gonna lie. It's probably some that can. They look at it like they could beat a dude's ass, man. You know, I mean, they say the black community is a matriarch, right? I don't. This is what I think about that, and I really haven't really said too much about it, but um, I guess you could say the black society is very black American society is very matriarchal, and the reason why, I would have to blame the simps. The simps are definitely one of the reasons why the black society is matriarchal. And black women are very good at utilizing simps. I have to give it to black women for, like, if I can use my sound effects and clap, I would have to give it up to the black women for utilizing simps for their efforts to kind of uphold that matriarchal society. You know, even at work. I mean, to be honest, like, you know, you work in corporate America, you could be the most hardcore alpha male, hear me roar, black man, black power. But you go to corporate America is primarily, okay, the executives, the people that you got to answer to, and you know, you're a lower, you know, even if you're a middle manager, your 9 times out of 10, your superiors, the executives, the C suites, it'll be white men, Asians. It might be a gay black man or two, and it'll be a black woman. And if that black woman asks you some shit, or you know, you tell you what to do, you got to do it, because that's how, you know, you're working in a corporate America. Your your superiors are executives. If depending on your position, unless you're the fucking CFO or the CEO, your superiors are whoever the executive class is, and executives usually are. Uh, it depends. It varies. I'm not gonna go into that, but your executives may very well be primarily a black woman or two or three or whatever, you know, and that's, you got to do whatever she say. She might even get off on trying to point you out to tell you what to say. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of things you could play at it, man. I mean, I say this is a financial channel, okay? This is a social issue I'm talking about, but financially you should be very much um have a high level of financial, uh I would say, independence or freedom to the point where you got a lot of money saved and a lot of money invested. Once you got a lot of money saved and invested, you can bend the spoon a little bit in life. You know what I mean by that is, you know, I don't know, you might be able to do some things. You might be able to talk a little bit more freely at your job. You know, you might be able to, you know, talk some shit. I'm not saying cuss a bitch out. I'm saying maybe you might be able to take her out to dinner or something, man, and you know, see if you can get a position. At least if you can get a position or two, one way or another, you know what I'm saying, you can probably get a position. But you know, this will probably only work if you have some type of financial sovereignty to yourself, because you might get your ass in HR and get fired. That's what I'm saying. But the thing is this, okay? Um, the takeaway is, yeah, black society is pretty much ran a lot influenced by black women, and I'm gonna be honest, let's just say the ops, they set it up that way. They exercise, they play that position that way. They utilize black women to you know, basically they hired them over black men, and you know, to keep that going. In case you didn't know that, or in case you forgot, or in case you didn't know that, yeah, that's why they hired black women to castigate black men. And because they like women to be in the office, because they like fucking women. Okay, so I mean, I ain't gonna hate the player. I'm gonna hate the game. But yeah, they like having women in the office, and you know, the women be, you know, sometimes they, you know, be fucking them. Okay, and uh you know, and I ain't got nothing against that. Like I said, I ain't gonna hate the play. I'm gonna hate the game. But the thing is this. Yeah, they do hire black women over men, in the sense of they not trying to fuck them. They trying to leave black men unemployed, and they want to hire black women. Okay. Um. So that puts by default men into a situation if they're not able. That's if you're not able to compete. That's why I say you gotta compete. You gotta learn how to make some money. You gotta learn how to be creative because that's the game, and it's been the game before I was even born, to be honest. And that's what they do. This is chess. It's not checkers. And that's what they do. They hire black women and then they don't hire black men. So then black men are running around in the hood trying to make some money, trying to be creative or trying to do something to make some money. And then a woman got a job. They woman getting funding and all kinds of other stuff. And some of the black women are okay with trying, they know this is going on and they try to help the black men. A lot of them are just, pointing fingers at the black men and just like, yeah, you pull yourself by your bootstraps and shit like that. And it's like they, and they even know what's going on, but they don't care. They, shopping at Sephora, Neiman Marcus, and enjoying the fruits of their labor and all of that, knowing damn well they're being used as a chess piece against black men. Okay. Now, okay, the thing is, that's also why the black community is also, the black society is a matriarchal because of that too, because of that fact of what I said. I mean, basically utilizing black women, funding them, funding their endeavors in life, and then leaving the black man out of the endeavors. Not, black man puts his resume for a job, it goes into the auto dump folder, you know, um, and then the black woman gets called, off of LinkedIn because, she's an asset. The black man is a liability. And it's not because he's negative or not qualified. It's because it's war. That's why. And unless he's, it just. I mean, in certain scenarios and certain skill sets, black men can get jobs. It's certain jobs that you are more of an asset to, a sense where they'll overlook the fact that you're black because they need you. If you're a programmer, if you're a truck driver, obviously certain things they kind of have to fill those positions, so they gotta hire you. But it gets selective. It's competitive. It's human competition. And part of that human competition is, all right, we're gonna utilize these because basically what exacerbates this is because black people do not have any type of united organizational um, local economy and even national and even international economy. Some of us are not. A lot of us are not playing that game. Too few of us are playing that game. The Act Ones and the Bob Johnson, BTs. Bob Johnson created more black millionaires when he sold BT than any other black man in history. And it's like, it's not too many, and people call Bob Johnson a coon and all that type of stuff, but I mean, who else created a whole bunch of millionaires, legally, without much bloodshed? You can say Pablo Escobar, but look at all the bloodshed that came from that, all the crack babies and all that type of shit came from that. You don't want to go down that road. That road's got a lot of dead bodies, but and a lot of people in prison and shit. The thing is that, yeah, man, a lot of people are not playing that game. Too many few people are playing that game, or playing, not so much even playing that game, but are just, trying to do the right thing, quote unquote, trying to compete. Black people are these independent truckers trying to do everything by themselves, having to by themselves mentality, lack professionalism, don't call you back, push you to the side, and then we start making some money and you don't want to deal with that person. You feel some type of way because you want to do stuff on your own, and you didn't want to basically tribe up or team up. So when you see somebody doing something good, and they getting with some other people, you feel some type of way because they surpassed you, and you like, well, I gave you the opportunity. You didn't want to do nothing with it. You lost faith in me, or you lost confidence in me, and then that's that. And just playing all of these games, and it's like, yeah, okay, no communal effort to fund businesses, to hire people. Then now you got the black community full of poverty, full of unemployment, full of crime, because black people are retarded. In mass, black people are retarded. They just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and and it does not work. That's retardation. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you got to understand, when you're playing chess with a retard, you got an easy win. You just, it just is what it is. If you're not good at chess and the other person is, you're gonna mollywop you. And that's what black people are doing, like playing retarded chess. They're playing checkers, and it's like, yeah, it's and then even the black women, they like, what, fuck it. I work for this dude. He signs my check. He owns the company. I might as well just suck and fuck him. Make a baby with him because he got everything else. I mean, just might as well go all the way with it. I mean, it's just, you got two parties. You got the SYSBM, and then you got the whole pink pill chicks, or whatever the fuck they want to call it, or the date zaddy or whatever, click. That I can't blame them. They're like, oh, this one side's retarded than a motherfucker. Then it's like, oh, well, they kind of crazy, kind of violent than a motherfucker, but they still got money and power. I work for them. Well, fuck it. I might as well be a bed wench. I mean, I can't blame them. I mean, you got to understand. I kind of be like, okay, they're not really kind of lying, to be honest. Like, it is some true valid points, but then, I mean, you got to understand. I mean, you know, that ain't, when you go certain down certain roads, it's like, it's like, you gotta understand, once you go down that road, you're going down that road, and you better be, and when it gets bumpy and all that type of stuff, you got to deal with. Like I said, I started this off, I talked about, okay, you go outside the single motherism and all of that other stuff. If you just so cannot if you cannot find a woman without that's not pregnant or already, or as a single mother, which is not that many black women. Like I said, after 20 something years old, it starts to, they start to become single moms, and then, it's like, it's hard to find one that's not a single mom. So yeah, I mentioned, obviously, not, you got more populace of people, to women to choose from when you go outside basically the non-black community. But then you got to understand, you got to deal with all of the good and bad of their culture too, and their culture is fucked up. They themselves are fucked up. They're different. Is they're different. You got different DNA structures and all that kind of shit. You got to break all that shit down. This is, different cultures, all that type of stuff. You gonna have to deal with all that, and you better know how to deal with it. You better speak Spanish. You better know um how to deal with white people and the good and bad and all of their culture. You better accept that shit. You know what I'm saying? You better accept, if you gonna go down that road, you better accept that road. That's all I'm saying. Because unless you want to be, I guess, a deadbeat, and they don't really like deadbeats. Non-black culture do not like deadbeats. The way they deal with deadbeats is a little bit more harsher than how the black community deals with deadbeats. You know, the whole shotgun wedding thing. Where do you think that came from? It ain't come from black people. That did not come from black people. I'll just tell you that. So yeah, you better you got to know what you're dealing with. That's all I'm saying. Like I lived with white people for years. Okay, I lived with them, and I was in a group home, and yeah, uh, I lived with them. So I know a lot about that culture than probably anybody else that has not. I was, talking to somebody that's older than me that, we was talking and he was like, oh, I went to a white institution. I was with him too. No, I was like, no, not like I was, bruh. And I explained it, and then he, understood what I was talking about, and was like, oh yeah, yeah, I see what you said. But the thing is that yeah, I mean, you know, it's a lot of things to deal with, but it's damn near unavoidable. As far as like if you're going to, you got to understand when you're trying to date a black woman, man, you damn near probably gonna you damn near dating a single mom. I'm just saying, like, I mean, that's just how it is. Unless you gon' like fucking meet chicks outside of the prom, or graduation in high school, and you just be like, "Hey, um, before you become a single mom, can you date me?" Or you gonna be hanging out at college campuses and trying to, stalk, women before they become single mothers. Like, I mean, by the time they get done with college, man, even in college, man, it's single moms in college, man. It's not that many. A lot as far as like when I was in college, it was kind of a little bit more, but by the time they start, like, you gotta understand, it's a lot of women don't even go to college either. Some women don't go to college. The ones that just go to work, to go straight to work, they gonna be a single mom, like, during that process too. So it's like you gotta damn near get in a time machine and then fucking meet the chicks before they turn a certain age, or you know what I'm saying? Hope that they like you. Then what if you go back in the time machine and they just think you corny or you're lame, and they not even trying to deal with you? And it's like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, I'm trying to get you before you become a single mom. I dated you in the future. That's a good ass movie. See, I'll be giving away, movies and shit, man. You know, you go in a time machine and you try to meet the chick that you really wanted to deal with. That's a single mom now, but she's hot. She's a hot single mom, and you just go into a time machine to try to get her before she can, like some Back to the Future type shit, to get her before she became a single mom. And you like, oh shit, you do all of that trouble, you know what I'm saying? You go into the space time continuum, and you get some special, I forgot what dude needed to get in the Back to the Future. It was some shit that he needed. The scientist dude, I think it was Morty or some shit. No, Marty was Michael J. Fox. I forgot the scientist dude, but yeah, like you go through all that trouble and she friend zone your ass. You know what I'm saying? You like, God dog, I went through all this trouble. This bitch friend zone me, goddamn. But she did friend zone you in the future because she was a single mom, and she could utilize a good simp to be a stepfather possibly. But I mean, the thing is that, man, it is very, very serious. But I mean, fortunately, there is another solution. It's another solution, and it's not like this is where the single moms get sour. Listening to me, because it's something called a blue passport. You could activate it, and it opens up a whole bunch of more women, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's a, you got to be careful with that because you're dealing with different cultures, and it gets even more scary because you're dealing with foreign cultures, tribal cultures and all kind of shit, man. You dealing with all kinds of cultures in the world, man, and you got to deal with all of that type of stuff. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's probably easier to deal with, to be honest. Once you get past the stink, the stench, the wild chickens running around, goats and shit. Get past your nostrils start burning and flaring up, from all of the cow manure and goat shit, and chicken shit you got to deal with and piss. Um, you meeting a woman that has a dowry, man. You just meet the father, and you pay that dowry, and get her out that cesspool. Try to get it to the immigration office and file the paperwork, and there you go. Now you got to wait a few years or so to get it back over to America. And now you're dealing with a strange woman with a strange culture. But she's definitely not a single mom. She might even be a virgin. I don't know. If you're, if you really know what you're doing, I guess. And there you go. Now you got it. But you had to do a lot of shit to do that. You still had to go, man. You had to fucking, and you got to understand. I know men that have actually done this. Like I know guys that have actually done this. Like I'm not speaking off some fucking, I'm being comical, but I actually know guys that done this. Okay. I know quite a few men that have done this. They got families, they done it successfully, and that's what they did. Okay. They went to Ethiopia, they went to Morocco. I mean, I will say these guys were Muslims. The women that they chose were Muslims, so it is different. Um, Muslim culture is, or Islamic culture, you could say, it is more traditional. I guess you could even say conservative. So they already kind of know it's more well defined. That yeah, should be able, you should marry and all of that type of stuff, and some more of a married based culture and religious culture and stuff like that. But the thing is, if you're not religious, I mean, you can still do it. It's not like you gotta be religious. I mean, you just gotta meet the father and pay that dowry. What I'm saying? You gotta meet. Um, that's pretty much what you got to do. But if you're not Muslim, I mean, they probably not gonna really accept you. In that case, you probably have to go probably deal with a woman that's Christian. You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere. Probably a woman is Christian. They got still got dowries and stuff like that because it's more of a culture thing. Where you just meet a woman from another country that is more to your liking. I'll just say. But to me, I got kids, man. I got kids, so I mean, I'm already compromised. I've already spread my seed, so I don't necessarily. A single mother is not necessarily something that necessarily I look at it like, oh, I'm trying to avoid single mothers. Like, I mean, it's women that it's so like we gotta understand it's the matrix, right? So it's women that absolutely have kids, and they're the wonderful world of social media. They're talking about. I saw this chick. It's on Facebook. I posted on my Facebook page. Broke Geniuses on Facebook. She says she's got 5 kids. She only wants to date men that have no kids because she wants to find She wants to find another victim to terrorize. That's all you need to know. So yeah, it's women that have kids that they only want to date men that don't have kids. So uh, some men. It's a lot of men that are desperate because see, you got to understand, it is desperate times. I would say for it's a lot of desperation out here. But you got to understand, I went through times where it was a lot easier to get women, and it was a lot more just difference. A lot of it was the music, like a lot of what brings this toxic misogynist culture, misandrous culture, or whatever, is the music. Okay, the toxic music, like the 80s and 90s songs, R&B love songs. It turned into, by the 2020 2000s or whatever, I want to fuck, I want to meet up and fuck, let's fuck. Like, it went from, like, you know just kind of love baby making music to, like, just ain't no love, like, damn near, like, just let's get right to the fucking, and then the rap music is just, you know shoot 'em up, bang bang, get it back in blood and all this other stuff, and it's like, yeah, extremely violent. It just, that's why black people are so mean and hateful toward each other, because the music is pushing this shit. It's just like propaganda. Like I say, I keep saying that shit because it's the truth. I've yet to hear anybody in my comment section say otherwise, and they won't. And usually, people that comment some stupid shit, they don't even have a profile picture. They have, like, their picture, they have some lettering or something. And if it's too just decisive, if they don't comment back, and I don't even really like when it's just too blanket, and they just say some stupid shit, like, no basis behind it. They just say something else, and I just delete it. It's like, dude, come on. One, you don't got no profile picture. You ain't got no. You don't even. Some of these people don't even have an avatar, and then they have some type of like channel name or whatever, where it's just a bunch of digits and numbers and letters and shit. And it's like, I mean, it's like almost like a some bot or something. I don't know, but yeah, it is what it is. But the thing is that it's almost unavoidable to, like I say. I mean, it's almost like, damn near, to be honest, you have to get in a fucking cage match for the non-single mothers and fight to the death. I mean, to be honest, like, it's that fucking bad in the black community. I mean, um, you could still get one. It's still a lot of women that, you know, are not single mothers. I mean, I guess it's probably, I don't know how many, but like I say, they so rare that, and then you got competition for other non-black men that have more money than you have, more power and influence than you have. And then they're trying to get with them too. So then it's like, what I'm saying? It's competitive, man. But you can't get one. I mean, when I was younger, I just didn't know how good I had it when I was younger. But I mean, there was plenty of women that didn't have kids when I was like 19, 18 years old. I was in college. It was women that were virgins. I just didn't know how good it was. Like, it's like, you just think that it's just gonna be like that for the rest of your life, and then you get older, people move on, people start having families, The chick you start dating, she get married to somebody, you know what I'm saying? And then she start having a family. You like, damn, time just passing on, people living their life, moving on. And yeah, I mean, older you get, people starting to have families. They not waiting on you to, okay, you meet her at the mall and you meet a chick at the mall in 2025 and she's got kids. She wasn't waiting on, she had a, she's got a 5-year-old. She wasn't waiting 5 years to meet your ass in the mall. She's trying to live her life, you know. Um, so it's kind of like that. But the thing is that, yeah, when you're young, you kind of just probably don't really know how valuable something is. Like you kind of like you just kind of didn't know. Like you just didn't have the understanding that, okay, it's kind of like when it's the same thing with women. You should have met your husband in college. Well, it's the same thing with men. Like you should have met your fucking, the woman that you wanted to be with in college. Yeah, like that was the best time. And you was, I was being a fucking playboy, a player. You know what I'm saying? And that was fun and shit like that. But be honest, like, yeah, the best move would have been, get that chick that played that was the gymnast, and fucking a virgin, and lock her up, and that was that. But you live and you learn. But I'm here trying to tell you, like, maybe somebody, I don't know, watch me 16, 17, they'll get that wisdom. Because if you 25, it's like, I mean, what the fuck, you in that range where the women that you've in your age range, most of them already have a single fucking, they're a single mom, so that's the thing. I mean, but like I say, hey, that blue passport, motherfucker, man, it ain't even about the women, to be honest. It's a whole world around us, man. It's like we're on this planet. It's so much to see, so much to enjoy. Like you only got so much life to live. Like just women aside, you just want to travel just in general. It gives you a better world view. One of the things about me is my world view is way different than a person that has never traveled. Even a person that has never been in the military, my world view is elite level because I mean I've seen things and people will never see. I've been places people have never been. I already been in Japan. I lived in Japan. I was, stationed in Japan, in Yokosuka, Japan, on a U.S. Battleship, an aircraft carrier. I mean, I'm a badass motherfucker, man. I ain't too many people have that background. And it's like, that's why my worldview is what it is. It never can be on some low level type shit. I mean, I've been in states of depression and different problems and issues in life, but when I'm healthy and vibrant, I have a very intense background that I lived, and I have in my background. So it's a thing where when you do travel, it just adds a stamp to your passport, but it also adds an experience to your worldview. It shows you, oh, damn, this is an option. Okay, I might need to learn Spanish, but I can go here, and I could deal with these women that were, the ancestors of pirates. you know, I can I can deal with these. It kind of spicy a little bit, but they look like black women. They got curly hair, natural curly hair, and all this type of stuff. But they are, you got to understand, they the ancestors of fucking pirates and slaves, So it's like, yeah, I mean, and then also plantation owners, Spanish plantation owners. So, but the thing is that's an option. And then just not even that. It's fucking beautiful. It's island and sea, ocean, a lot of stuff to do. It's like, yeah, you these experiences, man, are just, man, it just, man, it blows out the water, because you got to understand, when you do these things, most people are stuck in a trance. Okay, they're work, go home, watch TV, eat food, feed their family, or the kids, because there ain't no family. We're talking about single moms here. A lot of women are single moms. They don't, their family is their kids and them. It's no man. Okay, or they deal with a man outside of their single mom, situation or whatever, on the side, you know and they stuck in that realm, and a lot of them don't even have the money to travel. They don't even have the capacity to travel, to be honest. And it's like, the thing is that it's a thing where you got to understand that, it's people that even, they got a family, and they can't travel because they don't have the money. It's a lot of people that just can't travel for whatever reason. Like, even me, I can't really travel like I want to, because I have kids. I can't just go and just, leave my kids and shit, and just go permanently be a expat somewhere. I got responsibilities. So, I might be able to, go somewhere for the weekend, or maybe a little bit longer if I plan it out right, or whatever. But yeah, it's even if you're doing it on the weekend, like, people don't travel like that. A lot of people they don't even leave their hometown. They don't even go to they own, like, downtown area. You know, they rarely go there, or they don't even travel in their own state. So it's like, yeah, when you go travel, like, it's always shocking to people, because most people do not travel, and it's just traveling. Forget the women and all that shit. It's like, world experiences and all of that type of stuff, man, that you got at your feet. And I know a lot of single moms, they don't want to hear this shit, because they um they don't like that option. The fact that you have an option is not something that they want to deal with, because it's weird, because it's like, you didn't choose this guy anyway. You don't want this guy. So what do you give a fuck the fact that he is, going overseas, or even talking about going overseas? What do you care about that for? Like, you don't want the guy anyway. You think the guy's a loser. So what do you care about him for? Oh, because he's telling other men to do it, and then they gon' it's a pool and all of this of men and, going overseas, and it's like, yeah, that shrinks up all of the simps. Basically, all of the simps, they going overseas. Not all of them, but a lot more simps. They're going overseas to deal with other women. Okay, and it takes the pool of simps. It dries up, because you know now the simps got, so a lot more passports, and then they're going overseas to other women that just got a cheaper price, or doesn't require that much for them to simp. And they don't like that shit, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, I don't know why the men don't like it. I mean, I don't get it. I guess because they trying to please the women, so they don't like it too. So yeah, it's weird. But I'm gonna get off of here. Yeah, yeah, this is a glitch in the matrix.